What is happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Dog Audio here, back with another video on home. What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Dog Audio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. And we're coming down to the wire for the end of the year. Big holidays are here, and we've all heard that the Postal Service, that UPS, FedEx, they're all essentially overwhelmed. So if you haven't purchased a gift yet for the voice actor in your life, there's a chance that the thing you're buying might not be under the tree. If you can't get to the store, if you're trying to buy something online, there's a chance it's not going to get there in time. So what I thought I would do is come up with a list of, 20 or so gifts at a really wide spectrum of different price points that if I were to receive them as a voice actor, I would be psyched. And we're going to start super cheap and we'll get probably super expensive. I want to say up front, there's virtually no gear in this. It's mostly going to be things that you can be delivered electronically so that you're not going to be waiting for it. Pretty much everything, except for like one thing. If you're looking for microphone recommendations, if you're looking for interfaces, Bandrew over on Podcastage made just an amazing list of choices at all different price points. So go check out Bandrew over at Podcastage, repping my Podcastage here, my friend Bandrew. He's got a great one. Go look at his 2020 gift guide for gear. It's outstanding. But since if you order those things, there's a good chance that a lot of those won't make it in time. Let's look at, 20 or so gifts that this voice actor would love to receive. I will also say I have purchased virtually everything in this list. I can vouch for it. They're things that I use in my business. They're things that I use practically every day. That's why I think I can speak for them. Number one on the list, starting at our cheapest price point, is tea. My personal favorite is throat coat tea, but if you're looking for a stocking stuffer for your favorite voice actor, some herbal tea would be nice. If you're trying to make a little bit of a gift basket, why not? Some tea, maybe a little sprig of, a little ginger root, some lemon, a mug, and a water bottle, and all of a sudden you've got a nice little gift of hydration and vocal recovery as a stocking stuffer or as a little under tree gift, just as a token gift. But I really like herbal tea. Specifically, the one I get is throat coat. I'll have a link there, but you may be able to get this at your grocery store. And that's pretty much all of the physical gifts that we're going to talk about during this one. The next one on the list is for the voice actor in your life who's looking to get into audiobook work. I personally do my fair share of audiobooks. Mostly they're like industrial audiobooks. I don't do a lot on ACX. But if you are looking, if the voice actor in your life is aspiring to become a voice actor, then it would really make sense for them to have an Audible membership, to actually do research on audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks all the time, as much for enjoyment as for research into my business to see how other people are doing it. So you can get Audible memberships from 1 month up to a year, $15 to $150. Right now I'm listening to 14 just because of Ray Porter. Ray Porter is just an amazing voice actor, and I want to learn from Ray. So I listen to audiobooks, and that happens to be the one I'm listening to right now. I'm only about halfway through it. I don't know how this thing's going to end, but man, what a bit of voice acting he does in there. And there's also good They're full cast productions. So you can really get a sense of doing your research for audiobooks. So an Audible membership, link below. I should say also, some of these links will be affiliate links. That will be an affiliate link, but I'm a paying Audible subscriber. I believe in it. So anyway. The next is going to be a common recurring theme throughout, and that is getting some plugins to make the voice actors work easier. Starting at the very beginning, at the entry level, is plugins that help transform your raw product into a finished product. That's going to be a recurring theme around here. We get paid by our output. In many cases, if you're doing something like audiobooks, we get paid by our output. And the more rapidly and consistently we can turn out our product and do so efficiently, the more money we can technically earn, because we get paid often by the finished product. So the first set of plugins is, if you're really on a budget, at about $30, is the RX Elements from iZotope. That is their entry level into their audio sort of restoration, repair, and recovery, and it helps clean up your audio. So if there's underlying noise, they have a denoiser. If there are clicks, like digital artifacts in your recording, their declicker works really well. So at $30, those are a great set of plugins that you could consider. Next, coming in at about $40, is a plugin that I've used for sort of my own productions, things that I've created either for fun or for other folks, and that is the voice-changing plugin called Little Altar Boy. So if you're creating your own voices for video games that you're making, things like that, and you need a monster's voice or you need to transform voices, then something like Little Altar Boy might be just the thing. So let's see, if we go into Little Altar Boy. So with Little Altar Boy, you can actually change the pitch, you can change the format, you can actually adjust the way these voices sound. So if you needed to create a monstrous voice, or
a more high-pitched voice, if you needed to simulate, some other kind of character, you can actually
adjust very easily the pitch and
formant of these knobs to create a real wide variety of other voices. So you can really change them around. You can really do a lot of creative experimentation with these voices,
and really come up with some cool stuff. So if you need a monster for your voice, do you need a monster? Do you need a monster? You can create a monster. Do you need
somebody who's got a smoother, a different kind of voice? Then you could do that too. You can link them together and you can come up with different voices, and really, it's just fun to mess around with. Coming in at $50, the next plugin that I would like to talk about, like to promote, one that I've used in other projects, is one called Futsbox by McDSP. What Futsbox does is it allows you to model your voice coming through or being present in other situations over a cell phone. If you're trying to simulate a phone conversation between two different people, you could have one person alter their voice with Little Altar Boy and then make it sound like it's coming through a speaker. So just as an example here, we could simulate that our voice is coming through a phone, through something like a flip phone. You could adjust how that sounds. So let's see. Let's go through and let's simulate coming through a flip phone. So all of a sudden, just by changing a couple of presets, you can make it sound like your voice is coming through different kinds of speakers, for example. Maybe you want it to sound like it's coming through a car radio. So, or that it's being modeled like you're doing a voice that's, let's say it's a news report that's coming out of a car radio. There's that kind of simulation. Maybe you're trying to make it sound like you're coming through one of those real bass-heavy low riders. Oh, I chose television, didn't I? Through a classic low rider. So all bass, like it's just coming through somebody's subwoofer. That's kind of cool. Maybe a pair of headphones like the Sony 7506s, something like that. The idea here is you can use these as a starting point to create new situations, new voices, especially if you're doing audio productions and you need to create these really quickly.
They just have so many different choices that it really allows you to create different tones for the voice. So at $50, what a great plugin. Coming in at between $30 and $50, my next gift recommendation for somebody who would really like to master the Reaper DAW, if they're using Reaper, as I do, it's my favorite DAW, is to go purchase a class from my friend John Tidy, who runs Reaper Blog. He's got a bunch of different classes. I've personally purchased his video tools. I do all of my video editing, pretty much all my video editing in Reaper, and his video tools have been incredibly helpful. His other classes are really good. And if you'd like to get one-on-one training with John, he does also offer one-on-one training. So John also does offer one-on-one support. So if there's something specific you'd like to learn in Reaper, especially if you're trying to learn music production, podcast production, something like that, then John, he's your guy. He knows practically everything there is to know about Reaper. I've learned so much from him. So I encourage you, if you're looking for some Reaper training, go talk to John. All right, our next gift coming in at $60 is for the voice actor who is either using Reaper but extending that free trial as long as they can, or if they're using something like Audacity or GarageBand in order to do their voiceover work. I encourage you to maybe buy them a copy of Reaper, get them up to speed, help them become legally licensed. Maybe give them another tool that will improve their workflow. I personally find Reaper to be one of the most capable DAWs out there, and at $60, that will get you upgrades for probably the next 4 years-ish, 3 or 4 years. All of version 6 and all of version 7 for $60. What an incredible deal. What an incredible deal. So if they're still clicking that Reaper's not for free, try me button, if you see them doing that, they're losing time every single time, help them become legal. Why don't you let them get their Reaper license? Next, also coming in at $60 is a plugin that I've used quite a bit called Track Spacer. So if you are trying to put your voice on top of a music track and using it to try and just adjust volume knobs, or maybe you're using a sidechain compressor, something like Track Spacer can make the job a lot easier. What Track Spacer does is it dynamically adjusts the equalization of the voice track and the music track and allows you to put space on one track to make room for the other. So I find it is great for putting voice over top of a music bed. So what I've got here is a little bit of audio that I recorded, just some free script that I won't get a copyright strike on, and some music that I won't get a copyright strike on. But it will show you that you can make space for the voice over top of music. So let's learn about our state highway system, shall we? Interstate 296, also known as I-296, is part of the interstate highway system in the U.S. state of Michigan. It is a state trunkline highway that runs for 3.43 miles, just 5.52 kilometers, parallel to the Grand River on the west bank, entirely within the Grand Rapids area. Its termini are I-96 near downtown Grand Rapids and I-96 on the north side of the Grand Rapids Water. 3 digits. That means it's a connector, not a main route. It's a connector. Could be a bypass, could be a spur. 3 digits. Bypass. For most of its length, the interstate runs concurrently within Highway US 131, which continues as a freeway built to interstate highway standards north and south of the shorter I-296. The highway was first proposed in the late 1950s and opened in December 1962. That should be enough for a sample. So that's an example of how Track Spacer works. One of the things that's nice about it is you can leave the bass of the music or the high treble of the music to just leave room for your voice, so the music still sounds loud and your voice still sounds loud. It's a great way to make the sidechain compressing of reducing a music bed to make your voice louder, especially if you're doing something like a podcast intro. If your YouTube channel has music in it, Track Spacer can really be helpful. So as a voice actor doing audio productions, yeah, I would love to have Track Spacer. I liked it so much, I bought it. So next I've got 3 plugins, all from the same manufacturer, FabFilter, who makes sort of the pro level, the reference for clean, transparent equalizers, de-essers, and gates. So if you're looking to take a step up from the existing equalizer or gate or de-esser that you currently use, consider the ones from FabFilter. They are a lot more expensive, that's for sure. But the ProQ, their EQing tool is really flexible, really transparent, nice for taking your EQing up and really making it so that you can tailor the sound for the EQ. Along the same lines is their de-esser. So if you're looking to be more precise with your de-esser, the de-esser can help you remove any troublesome S sounds from your audio. And if you're a voice actor and you're doing some long form and you want to have a nice, clean, transparent reduction of that S sound, then the Pro DS is something to consider. Really is really handy. Really, it's very tailorable. So once you find your S sound, you can get it dialed in and you can adjust exactly how you want that de-essing itself to work. But the Pro DS is a good plugin, one I've definitely used. And then finally is the Pro G, or their Pro Gate. And let's turn that down. So the next one is the Pro G, or FabFilter's Gate plugin. The Gate plugin can help you reduce background noise, can help with breathing in between. But if you do want to take your gate game up a little bit at about $170, $180, it's an expensive plugin, but it can really be sort of a very transparent way of putting a gate in between your sentences. Can be really helpful. And it's a little bit less expensive than going up to some of the larger suites that also have things like breath control. So if you are looking for a good gate, then Pro G could be just the tool for you. The next gift on our list is, why not have your voice actor get a professional opinion on their current sound? So if they're learning how to get their sound ready for production, for broadcast quality, if they're looking for an extra set of ears to tweak their sound settings, why not engage the services of my friend George Whitham? I've employed George a couple of different times to help set up my studio, and he's incredibly friendly, incredibly knowledgeable, and will help dial in your sound. He offers a number of different services on his website. The one that comes to mind is the audio processing setup. So if you're looking to make sure that your sound is broadcast quality, send him a copy of your raw audio, and he will come back and he will propose a signal chain, the plugins in the right order to optimize the sound with your goals in mind, with your recording situation in mind. For $75, what a great gift. What a great gift to get another set of ears, a professional set of ears to evaluate your sound, to make sure it's dialed in just right. Totally worth $75. The next gift is another plugin that I recommend, that I use on almost all of my tracks since I discovered it earlier this year, is the Soothe 2 plugin from OX Sound. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. OEKSOUND, but it's the Soothe 2 plugin. And what it is it's a resonance eliminator, the unwanted resonances, but it's a tool that's really optimized to adjust sort of the room that you're recording in, can take out some muddiness, can do some de-essing. And it's dynamic. It's super transparent. But when you hear the difference between turning the bypass off and turning it on, you can really adjust how this is making your audio. It's just cleaning it. It's sweetening it. And once I discovered it, I started using it on everything, and I've used it on other people's voices. So if there's a room boominess or something like that, you can help remove those frequencies through the use of Soothe 2. It's a great plugin. I'm not going to really be able to do it justice here in this little section, but it's a great plugin, great for sweetening your audio. You can use it on instruments and on whole productions, and sometimes I'll put it on the master track. But the Soothe 2 plugin, it's just been great for sweetening up the sound. I was really happy I made the purchase, but it's expensive, about $220. All right, next on our list, coming in at €200, $240, $250, is this is for the voice actor in your life who's doing their own engineering, doing their own production, and they're trying to get Reaper, their DAW, to do something it's never done before, something the creators of the program never envisioned, trying to get it to become a tool that is much more optimized for their work. I've engaged the services of this programmer this year and have been extraordinarily satisfied with the results. I encourage you that if you're looking to mangle Reaper into doing something it was never designed to do, then to definitely consider the services of X-Rame, I think is how he goes. He lives in France, and he will do custom Reaper development. In the Reaper world, he goes by X-Rame, and his work is widely known in Reaper, in the Reaper community. And if you're looking to have some custom development done for Reaper, something that's never been done before, for 200 euros, the work that he's created for me has been unbelievable. So I'll put a link over to his website. So if your voice actor says, man, I wish I could get my DAW to do this thing, I just can't figure out how to make it do this thing. I wish it could have this new feature. Talk to X-Rame. He'll, if it can be done, he'll know how to do it. I've used his services, was super happy with them. So why not consider giving that as a gift? A couple of the cool things that he's done for me that I was not able to figure out because I'm not a programmer is a lot of automation workflows beyond what the actions that currently exist in Reaper could do. He was able to help me create new custom scripts that did custom trimming, custom selecting, lots of workflows that I could not string together with actions in Reaper. And he was able to help me code them. Things that took me 40 seconds to do per iteration, we got down to a single click. So 40 seconds times thousands of actions, all of a sudden that turns into a huge time-saving feature for me. And so he's been able to really, really save me a lot of time in my productions. Coming in next at $299, I think is absolutely required for voice actors who are serious about their craft, serious about their work, and turning out the best possible product in an efficient time frame. And that is moving, instead of the isotope elements, RX elements that we talked about at the beginning, this I think is, if I could have one thing, if there was one thing that I had to have on this list that I cannot work without, that is the isotope RX8 Standard Suite. The Standard Suite really has all the tools that the voice actor needs in order to create good, clean, well-mastered audio. It's got their plugins that are worth their weight in gold are certainly their mouth declick. That to me is worth $299. So if you find that if you're clicky when you talk, their mouth declick plugin is unbelievable, worth $299. But you get a lot of other stuff. You get breath control, so it will automatically reduce the breath, so you don't have to worry about gating, even though we talked about the Pro Gate before. Isotope has a plugin just for reducing those breath sounds, tuned for it. It has de-reverb, so if your studio is not quite perfect and there is a tiny hint of reverb, their de-reverb plugin can reduce that reverb sound effect, really clean up your audio. And it's also got, like all of the additions, the repair suite that will help you analyze if there's anything that's wrong with your audio. For me, RX8 Standard Edition is absolutely essential for my work. Okay, next, coming in at $360 a year or $30 a month, is a tool that, as a working voice actor who runs my work as a business, is to have a business suite. Now, under normal circumstances, before I discovered this, I was paying for Dropbox and Google Suite and a bunch of other services. I was paying for a website, I was paying for hosting, I was paying for a CRM system, I was paying for a booking system. I was paying lots of different systems. And once I transitioned to this product, it changed everything for me. For $30 a month, you can subscribe to Zoho One. Zoho offers a suite of everything a small business would need. It runs my website. It allows me to book coaching gigs. It keeps track of my CRM system. It keeps track of my books. It keeps track of everything. If I had an email newsletter, I don't. It would take care of my email. It has e-commerce solution. So it's got like a checkout. It's got the ability to run, it's got a competitor to Zoom, so you don't have to pay for Zoom. Works just like Zoom. It's got meeting systems. It's got project management. It's got also an Office suite, so it's got a great word processor. It's got a great spreadsheet. It's got a great competitor to PowerPoint, all compatible with each other. It's got a social. Once I started using it for my social tool, I became a lot more proficient at my social media. It's got everything a small business needs. And as a sole proprietor, as a one-man shop, for $30 a month, it obviated the need for a bunch of other stuff that I was paying for. So I was able to significantly reduce my monthly costs just in running my business by switching to Zoho One. So if you want to help your voice actor transition to run their voice acting like a business and get away from Excel spreadsheets or keeping track of a bunch of different systems, consider the gift of Zoho One. I've been a big fan. Since I started using it, I've become a big fan of it. So a big jump up here in price for the next gift, and we're getting up into the stratosphere here. But the next gift at $650 is an application, a plug-in, standalone application. It's called Source Connect. If you're a voice actor and you want to connect to other studios, and if you want other studios to be able to connect to you and get a point-to-point microphone, their microphone directly into your DAW, your microphone directly into their DAW, the industry standard is pretty much at this point is Source Connect. There are a couple of different options, IPDTL, ISDN if you can still get it, and there are other people that are coming up with Chrome-based plugins, but in every studio I've ever gone to, they ask me if I have Source Connect. It really is the number one, the one that I get asked for all the time, and it really can up your level of professional gigs that you can get into, and allowing engineers to come in and just sort of get your mic right from the source. Having Source Connect really has been a big deal for me. And at $650, one-time purchase, it's a tough expenditure, but that can get paid for in one good gig if you get the right gig, and you can connect to somebody else's studio or they can connect to yours. At $650, it took me a while to save up for it. What an amazing gift for a voice actor that doesn't have it. Having Source Connect would be fantastic. $650 though. That's what makes it tough. All right, coming up to the real pinnacle of our list here is a gift for $1,000. And this is really the gift for somebody who is ultra serious about their work. They're really trying to make audio production, their voice acting, part of their career. And that is to go to the RX8 Advanced suite. So in the very top of the list, we had the RX Elements at like $30. This one is $1,000. But it's got essentially everything they would ever need for both voice acting and for their production. So if they really want to take their productions up to the optimum level, it's got the mouth declick, it's got the de-reverb, but it also has like de-rustle. So if there's the sound of clothing rustling into the microphone, it knows how to take that out. It's got dialogue matching. So if you have two different actors recorded at two different times, it can match the tone of those two to make it sound like they're actually talking together. It's got de-crackle. It's got, let's just look at the list here. It's got de-hum. They all have de-hum. Look at that. It's got dialogue isolation from background, spectral recovery. It's also got dialogue contour, dialogue de-reverbing, de-rustle, ambient matches, de-wind. De-wind. So if you've got outside sound where there's that de-wind, that wind sound, you can take that wind sound out. Man, it's just amazing. It's not needed. It's not needed for the voice actor, but if you really want to take your productions all the way up to what they use on the what the big boys are using, it's the dialogue. It's the RX8 Advanced. So, wow, if you wanted to be generous, that would be a good one. That would be a good one. I've used it. I ended up purchasing it myself this year. Took a long time to get to that point, but I was able to purchase it this year for myself. But as a tool, it could pay for itself very quickly. If you're going to save a take, if you're going to save a production with a take that you can't get back, and there's wind noise or reverb that you need to get rid of, these tools can really rescue you. They can really, really rescue you. So RX8, I've purchased it. I'm a fan. I would upgrade. I would do it again. So I would also recommend it as a gift. Few honorable mentions. These are ones that I haven't used specifically myself, so I don't have them in the list. But they're with people that I know and trust, even though I haven't necessarily been through it. if you're interested in sound for film production, TV production, check out soundspeeds.us. Our friend Alan Williams from the Soundspeeds YouTube channel, he offers classes. I think he's got a film or sound utility class that's available now, and it's not terribly expensive. But keep an eye on soundspeeds.us for classes that are offered there. If there's something specific that you need, you can reach out to Alan, and I'm sure he'd be happy to discuss anything specific. So if the person in your life is interested in doing sound for film, for TV, boom operator, anything related in that world beyond just microphones, definitely give Alan a ring. Another one is I haven't been coached by my friend Mick, but my friend Mick Wingert does coaching. And if you're looking for help with your characters or anything like that, give Mick Wingert a look up. He is probably most famous for the voice. He's a Jack Black. He's a stand-in for Jack Black. He does the voice of Po from Kung Fu Panda for a lot of the work. And Mick is just great to work with, really easygoing guy. So take a look at his website and see if he's got classes that might be interesting for the voice actor in your life. Finally, I do a little bit of coaching on the side. So if there's somebody who has questions about Reaper for voiceover, getting their home studio set up, they can always book time with me. I'll have a link down in there, about $75 for every 35 minutes, every 30 minutes or so. But I'm pretty generous with it. And then finally, if gear is a must, you may not be able to get that gear in time. 3 companies that I trust for gear to not get counterfeit gear. 3 that I trust are B&H Photo, Adorama, and Sweetwater. All 3 of them, I've purchased products from all 3 of them, been very, very satisfied purchasing through any 3. So if there is some gear that might not make it in time, certainly a gift card from any of those 3 would be welcome, would absolutely be welcome. And so there you have it. I don't know, how many was that? There's 20 some odd potential gifts that you could get right now, last minute, to put under the tree to give as gifts for the holidays, ranging from $5 to $1,000. A whole bunch of stuff in there. But as we do come up on crunch time, if you're still looking for a gift, there's a whole bunch of choices in there that certainly this voice actor would be really happy to receive. And I have used every single product on that list. I stand by all of them. I've been very happy with anything on that list. So I hope that helps. And happy holidays, whatever holidays you observe. Should you observe any holidays this time of year, I hope they're all enjoyable for you. And thanks so much for watching. Now, get yourself one of these things. Get the voice actor in your life one of these things and help them record something amazing. Thanks. We'll see you next time.